have liftoff. Hey there, and welcome to the Flyby Shine presents a show about drone cleaning. And I am Ric McCluskey. I'm the founder of Flyby Shine, a Marine Corps combat veteran, and been in the drone cleaning business for, oh gosh, I guess 2 years now. That makes me an old, wily veteran. Yeah, guys, so this is something that I thought was kind of lacking in our industry, and that is the presence of a podcast. You know, everybody and their mother's doing a podcast now. So we've had conversations with people in future episodes. You'll have everybody from drone manufacturers to fellow cleaners to facility managers to, property managers, commercial real estate guys, anything and everything in between. We'll be discussing recent news and events and new innovations coming from the different manufacturers. So yeah, I thought at the very least it would be fun. So this is the first episode. We wanted to get it started, after Christmas, after the holidays. And here it is. We're going to, I'm sure, be working out some quality issues because this is our first time doing this. And we look forward to, you guys tuning in and providing us input. So at the very least, once again, it'll be fun. So I guess we can just kind of start out with the recent news that we've heard here in the last couple weeks, and that is the DJI ban. So there's been a lot of questions about it. This has been coming for a couple years, and there are the rumors that Skydio had started this and then kind of abandoned the consumer drone sector, and everybody's kind of been on pins and needles waiting for some type of decision from the FCC. And on the flip side, you got DJI saying, hey, we did everything you wanted us to do. I personally I don't believe that the Chinese government has the equity stake in the company and that they're using the DJI drones to spy on American people or whatever the case may be or the accusations may be. However, could it be possible? Sure. So I kind of see both sides of the coin, but the decision comes out from the FCC, and in some regards, it was better than what we thought. In other ways, it was worse than what we thought. So I guess let's start off with the bad. It wasn't just DJI. It was every foreign-made drone. That covers a lot. And there's not any American manufacturers that are set up and ready to go, or even remotely close, for that matter, and filling the void for as far as performance and integration is concerned. The real sad thing is if something doesn't give here, and we're saying that no new drones or components or updates or whatever the case may be can come into the United States, then that simply just puts the American drone operator at a significant disadvantage. He's kind of, for the lack of a better term, frozen in time and will eventually be operating antiquated equipment and software. The good thing that I see is, at least, if this offers any consolation, at least the drone that you currently have and the software that it currently runs, if it has been approved by the FCC in the past, then it's good to go, and you'll still be able to get parts and you'll still be able to receive the updates. So that's some type of temporary relief at the moment. Also, I think this is going to get resolved. I think it's at the end of the day, it's an attempt to onshore possibly some of those drone operations. In which I'm sure that, these drone manufacturers making these business decisions, they will do that, or they just wait out the current administration. I'm not real sure, but I do believe that they will come to some type of resolution, that this will be short-lived, and we'll get this thing straightened out, and the American drone operators will be back to flying new DJI and Altel drones, and we'll all be good. So with that was the recent news from the industry regarding us. And, even though a lot of us don't use DJI, we're flying, the Lucid Sherpa or a Pelix. Some of us do use it for content. I mean, we do. We use DJI for content, and thermal imaging, and a variety of other things. So it does indirectly affect us. So moving on, this is the good part of the show, I guess you'd say. And I guess I'll kind of take it from this position to start our inaugural show out. Some people may be tuning in and wondering, what exactly is drone cleaning and how are drones going to be used to clean facilities? That just seems silly to me. So let's compare let's say the old way versus the new and better way. So in the past, if a facility manager or property owner wanted something cleaned that was higher than 2 stories, you would pretty much hire a contractor, bring in a lift or scaffolding, shut down the property. We set up cones, tape, access controls, hope for good weather, hope nothing gets damaged, hope nobody gets hurt. And it's not that the lifts don't work. They've been a backbone of access for a long time, but the risk profile has definitely changed. So I think it was according to OSHA, most fatal falls happen at heights under 30 feet. So that means just your routine cleaning jobs, gutters, roofs, signage, second story windows. They carry a serious exposure, especially when you bring in lifts into areas where, there's pedestrian traffic or vehicle access. So we see that while the actual risk surrounding the lifts, while that may not have changed, the OSHA risk profile has. So then there's downtime. So we've seen retail centers lose days of foot traffic and data centers delay vendor operations, all because somebody was trying to wash the building. And that shouldn't even require boots on the ground. So, let's be clear though. I am saying the old way still works. Not everybody's flying a drone. In some locations, facility managers and property owners, that's all they have. That's their option is a lift. However, the question is, does it still make sense? And I think we're getting the answer to that. So I want to say the drone cleaning as a system, it's not a gadget. And I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions we hear is that the drone cleaning is just a gimmick. We're all in the beautiful world and, entertaining world of pressure washing, soft washing Facebook groups. And you'll see a lot of the guys say, oh, it's just a gimmick. It's just a toy. I'm not paying, however much for one. But in reality, drone cleaning, when it's done properly, it's a system, and it's a combination of that system it consists of FAA licensed pilots. So these guys, we all have to, take the course and go sit down and take the Part 107 of the FAA. Granted, it's not hard. Of course it isn't, but it does show that you have some type of ability to process information. And if we're being honest, that there's nothing, outside of that in the wash industry that shows us that. In addition, we have to get custom rigs for our units, and we are supposed to, at least with us, we have safe standoff distances that, we're making sure that people aren't close to us. And in case of overspray, we get the real-time visual feedback. Most of us have the remote chemistry control, and most importantly, we have zero ground contact. So it's not just the safety element that the drone makes things a little bit better than a lift. It's the fact that you don't have tires scuffing up decorative concrete. There's no boom arms brushing against HVAC units. There's no railing gaps. No need for swing stages. The drone stays in the air. The tech on the ground supports it, and the team manages it all. That system doesn't just clean faster. It kind of removes the risk entirely from the work zone. So that's what makes it different. I can't tell you how many times I've been to do a walkthrough on a job site, and the speed in which we do things and the safety in which we do things. It's a big benefit, a big win. But then the property manager, they just have a horror story. They had a lift that came in the previous year, and it just destroyed a sidewalk or their landscaping, or they have to put mats out over the landscape. And it just turns into a big ordeal just to get a window clean. And then one of our repeat customers over the last couple of years, it's a state government agency. They brought us on because the year before they had a company come in using a lift, and they had to put the mats down, and it took forever. And then, on the last day there, they collided with the building and ended up doing like $8,000 to $12,000 worth of damage on the brick. For a facility manager, they experienced that one time and they are not going to want to experience it again. So the drone it takes away those risks. And now don't get me wrong. Hey, there are crap drone cleaners too. And they can operate in a way that's unsafe. And guys just come out there and they get the drone in the air because it looks cool, and they don't have control of the work site. They don't have control of foot traffic. They really don't have control of anything. And very lucky they have control of the drone. So yeah, you as a facility manager, you want to be sure you're vetting these companies that you bring in, even if it is drone cleaning. Just because they have a drone doesn't mean they're inherently safe. Tell them to send you their safety reports. Tell them to send you their standard operating procedure. Tell them to send you their SDS on everything. Ask them while they're in front of you. Put them on the spot and see how they react. And if they don't have quick, concrete answers for you, or they can't turn over some documents quickly, some OSHA documents, then I would probably hesitate on giving them the business, because there are those out there like us at Flyby Shine. We have everything ready. We can turn it over, and we have everything to include the OSHA matrix. So you let us know if you are a drone operator and that you don't have these things in place, and we can provide them for you. It's no big deal. We want to make sure everybody out there is being safe. We don't need any accidents, because, we have to police our own right now. Make sure that others aren't acting out and being bad actors, because it makes us all look bad at the end of the day. So, just another example that I have of, at one university, we were walking through and they had, ongoing issues with scissor lifts, damage and everything, and, compacting roots of these big heritage trees that they had. The drone lets us avoid those sensitive areas, and we're still reaching, gosh, this is a small, it's like 3rd story soffits. So, we have flown 10, 13 stories, but the drone lets us avoid these sensitive areas, and we're still reaching those architectural features that it's really hard for someone to reach out and touch from a lift. And, even if they are on a lift, I see people all the time talking about, well, that drone has to have a tremendous amount of overspray. No, it has to, however much overspray that you have standing on a lift holding a gun is about the same as a drone. Matter of fact, the drone's probably going to be safer and have less overspray, because I can actually get closer. You may not be able to get as close. I could put the drone right on it. So it is what it is. I see these arguments all the time. Another one, high traffic retail center in Mississippi, a traditional crew. They cracked a window with a boom lift. Property manager had to file a claim. We were later brought in to finish the job. No contact, no claims, and I think that's the big thing that property owners are starting to look at, is just the risk from a safety component. There is no comparison with all this. So let's see what else we have in store for today. I think the big thing for the industry, and this is something that, we're all the time looking at industry studies and surveys from facility managers, and we're seeing a trend go toward looking at service models. And of course, because a service model, it is more preferential. You get to kind of spend as you go. But I think what, as an industry, as washers, whether it be drone, whether, it be traditional, we have to help give that visual. We have to help them understand how that would look. Understand that, maybe there's a way to piecemeal this, because what they're looking for is less disruption and the ability to not have to shut down sidewalks, not have to shut down main entrances. And I know the same thing can be done, with traditional. There's always, or there should be foot traffic control. But what if the window gets smaller? What if that window that you're given to do the work gets smaller? With a boom lift or a man lift, your ability to move is certainly slower than the drone. The drone just gives you that agility, gives you that ability to, okay, well, we're going to do this you got one day or you got tonight to get it done. We're going to be able to get more done in a night than a traditional cleaner will. And we need to start understanding more about what it is our customer base is telling us. And this is for every industry. There's always that yearning to communicate better with the customer, yet not being able to do it because, there's this conflict of, you want to make as much money as you can and the customer wants to spend as least money as they can. So with facility managers, I think if you'll just understand the things outside of the money, if you speak to their headaches, if you will speak to what gives them heartburn and makes them lose sleep at night, then you will find that there's more money on the other end. And, the drone represented a major step forward in technology within an industry that is washing that was sorely lacking. I still see it. I mean, there's a lot of technology that's missing in this industry, but there's something to be said about the innovation on the customer experience side. There's something to be said about, what we can steal from other industries and other service style companies on how they do workflow and how things are frictionless or less friction for the customer. And, we're putting our best foot forward right now, trying to innovate and do that. We've invested a lot of money in trying to make things easier on the customer. And I hope it pays off for us, because I do think that if you come into this with that servant's heart, then you're going to find out that there's more money to be made and you just take it in smaller bites. It's that old saying, the customer's always right, guys. There are your times where the customer may not be, but we just need to, as an industry, take those steps toward making sure that this workflow process and, from A to Z, from getting the request for an estimate all the way to invoicing and getting paid, that the steps are small. And, I'm interested to hear what you guys have been doing. If there's anybody out there trying to solve these issues, and then reach out to us and let us know. I'm excited about the growth that we're getting ready to see, not just in the drone side of things, but the wash industry and seeing where facility management is going as a whole. It's going to be fun. It's going to be very fun. Automation is getting introduced. We're down here in the Southeast, in Mississippi specifically, is where corporate headquarters are. And I've been pleasantly surprised that a lot of our facility managers, they're good old boys, and they've been hesitant in the past to accept any type of new technology because, some of them are getting close to retirement. And when you're a facility manager, going into those golden years, getting ready for retirement, your biggest goal is not to get fired. Don't mess anything up. Well, if that's the case, then maybe a change is in order. And you move toward the drone because it is the safest way. It is the way that you don't mess anything up. Anyways, guys, I think that's going to finish it up for our first episode. I know the content wasn't as substantial today, but we wanted to test out the equipment, make sure that we are going in the right direction. We will have bigger and better episodes for you in the future. We do have a mobile setup, so we'll be traveling a little bit to talk to guys. And if you want to get on here and promote your business in some type of way, if you got something new and cool and different, and reach out to us and let us know. If I said something wrong and you want to correct me, come on the show and tell me how I'm wrong. We want to open the communication lines of communication. I want facility owners, if you have any questions, please reach out to us. So guys, we're about ready to land this thing. My name is Ric McCluskey. Thank you so much for tuning in to the very first Flyby Shine Presents a Drone Cleaning Show. I'm out.